What's up, YouTube? Thought I'd make a video today speaking about track training, or basically 400-meter training and 800-meter training, and like 1 minute hit training for bodybuilding, and why it's really important. So I want to just talk about real quick about like what bodybuilding is, right? Or just lifting. In general, when you're lifting, you're not actually feeling a burn, right? It's more so if you're training like in the 6 to 12 casual, typical hypertrophy range, you're going to fail due to muscular failure because you're simply not strong enough to lift a weight. Even like with like hitting legs, you're going to fail because you're not strong enough to hit the weight, right? And sometimes when you're working out, so let's say you have leg day and you're hitting like 6 by 5. That's pretty tough leg workout, right? Pretty heavy and 6 sets of that. What you will notice is that you will eventually have to drop the weight by your third set, fourth set, for sure. And the reason being is not because of muscular breakdown, right? Or because of really like your muscles literally don't have the strength to keep up with the weight. Rather, it's an issue of working capacity. You'll see this pretty often with people who try doing like 20 sets in one workout, right? By the end of the workout, by like the 10th, 15th set, you're going to have a significant drop down in how much weight you can start lifting. So, you're gonna have pretty high levels of weight that you can lift, 5, and then past 6, really, you're gonna start having a drop down in how much weight you can lift. That is not an issue of muscular strength. That is an issue of something called working capacity. Now, the whole reason why I'm talking about this, why I spent 1 minute and 40 seconds speaking about this, is because working capacity is very important in bodybuilding. A lack of working capacity can sometimes hinder you from doing higher volume training during an off season while you're bulking. If you have worse working capacity, you simply cannot do more volume. That will hold you back from more gains. Now, most beginner bodybuilders don't need to do a anaerobic conditioning training block. But what I'm starting to realize as I become an intermediate and slowly go into advanced is that I needed a anaerobic training block or a HIT training block to build up my working capacity. And now that I finished doing it, I've been doing it for about 3 months now, I have noticed great improvements in my working capacity and overall health and fitness within the gym. And I want to speak to you guys about that and put you guys on to this method that I've been using. So I started off with actually doing this by accident, really. I was training for a 5K with a friend. We had a bet. I ended up losing the bet, unfortunately. And I started by training for the 5K by doing like these 1 hour long, hour 30-minute long slow runs, right? Really just getting that zone 2 cardio and building up my aerobic base. I honestly didn't do it for very long. That only lasted for 2 weeks. But I started off very slow, really just getting some cardio in. And then I ended up dipping into doing 3Ks, right, which is a little longer than a mile. And then it ended up doing 1 mile repeats, right, which is a lot faster pace, doing these at like 6 minute pace, maybe even 5:50 pace. And then once I finished that 5K after doing these mile repeats and tempo runs and long runs, I realized that, hey, I want to try to peak for my mile because I'm already in such good shape. And so now for peaking for the mile, you're not going to run mile repeats for the mile. You're going to start doing 800s, right? 800s and some 400s. And now this is where you really start to get the money, is where I started to realize this is the hardest training I've been doing. Would I'd be doing like 2 sets of 800s and then 4 sets of 400s. Like, man, that was brutal. Those workouts are brutal, right? Like running 800s at like sub 3, really like sub 3 above 230 pace. Actually, I think I was hitting those at like 240. I remember I was hitting these 800s at like 240 pace. And so when you're going at a very quick pace, it's very glycolytic. And then you got 400s, also very glycolytic. You're doing that in like sub 110. Hopefully, that's what the pace I was running, like sub 110, above sub 108, sub 108. These were some of the hardest workouts I've ever done in my life. Like if you said I had to do 6 sets of 5 on like squat, or let's say I had to do 1 set of 20 with like let's say like 135 or something like that, front squatting or something, or like let's say I take a weight that will be extremely difficult to do for 20 reps in squat. I would rather do that than do even just 3 sets of 400s. It is so brutal, so brutal. And what I've noticed is that my working capacity or my ability to keep the same pace dwindled so much quicker when doing 400s, right? I stopped doing 800s, started doing 400 repeats. So I did 5 sets of 400s. First set, I'd be able to do 108, even 107. And then by the end of it, I'm holding on for dear life, pushing my absolute hardest, doing 113. And my times are just dropping and dropping and dropping. And I realized that I was so damn gassed into my workouts that I started dreading these days. I've never like dreaded workouts like this. You ever like hit a set of squats and you actually like are so scared of hitting them? That's the same feeling I felt, but even more so. Like I've never felt this about anything else, dreading a workout, than doing these 400 repeats. So to be honest, it actually brings me to my second point of because these are so energy draining, and I can't tell you why. These drain your energy so much. They build up your working capacity. They build up your mental capacity too. They build up your ability to really just like push through some shitty workouts. They give you the fortitude to push through. And it expands to all areas of life. I think you should do this for not only physical strength, but for mental strength as well. Because it is truly a test of willpower doing these types of workouts, doing 5 sets of 400s, running sub 10, 110. It's truly a test of willpower trying to do these. And I would much rather basically do a brutal, barbell leg workout than do this. And I can't tell you guys why, but it strengthens the mind like crazy. And I think it overall just makes you a better person. So that's my second point. But going back to my first point about why I initially started talking about this is because my working capacity was so shit. And it was revealed to me during these workouts. And I slowly started getting better at it. My work capacity started improving. I could slowly just start like keeping up and start recovering quicker and quicker from these 400 repeats. Now these 400s lasting for 1 minute. The average set in the gym is going to last about 1 minute. But these 400s are so much worse. Like it's to absolute like failure, really. That they're going to allow you to have so much more ability to just finish a hard set, do another one, do another one, and do another one, and go one more. Because if I could get through doing, past 3 sets of 400s, I'm already very tired. I could basically call that a workout, really. Maybe I'm this weak. Could just be me. But I'm very tired by that third set of 400s. That push into those last two is really, it's like difficult. It's like, it's like getting out of bed when you've had like 2 hours of sleep and you have to wake up for school. It's like that willpower you need. It's insane. It gives you, A, the mental fortitude, but B, builds up your working capacity. Like there's scientific evidence and studies proving that when you do cardio, you get higher capillary density in your legs, right? That's going to allow for more oxygen transport. I'm going to have a higher lactate threshold, right? That's one thing I didn't talk about. Man, when I finished these, my legs felt like there were tight rubber bands around them, like these tight. And that's because of lactic acid buildup. Well, really muscle acidosis was causing that. But lactic acid clearance, I need to be able to clear out this lactic acid from my legs. When you can start doing that, you're going to have greater efficiency of A, clearing that out, but also B, taking out lactic acid, taking it to the liver, and creating more glucose. So you're actually going to have greater energy during your workouts if you start doing these longer 2-hour workouts where you're going to start severely depleting your glycogen storage. You can start using that lactate you get from your legs to turn back into glucose and use for more energy. So I think I was yapping a little bit and rambling on in this video, and my thoughts are a bit disorganized. But to summarize basically the 2 main points of why I think track training, or basically doing 400 meters, 800 meters, mostly 400 meter training, is A, to really build up your working capacity. Because if you become an intermediate lifter, advanced lifter, and you need to start doing high volume, your working capacity will start holding you back, not actually your muscular strength. And so you cannot allow that vector to prevent you from getting more gains. And B, to build up mental fortitude, which is important for all things in life, not just lifting. And I think it's something that I guess anyone who's trying to self-improve should be doing to really do these shitty, sucky workouts. So, I'm done with my, working capacity training. I'm going to start lifting again like normal, and I'll let you guys know if I see any gains. One thing I also wanted to add is that you can get more gains from doing cardio. There's many scientific studies proving that people who did cardio for 2-3 months and then started lifting actually saw greater gains in their legs. So that's another point I'd like to add on, is that you're actually going to see greater gains within bodybuilding and within how much muscle you can put on if you do cardio and then you get into like a heavy hypertrophy phase. But anyways, this is about 10 minutes now. I didn't want to make this video too long. But yeah, thank you guys for your time. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought. Thanks.